When you are on the go, you need your credit union to be right there with you. Hughes Federal Credit Union makes your life easier. For 65 years, Hughes has called Southern Arizona home and has given back to our community. Isn't that who you want as your financial partner?
Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley here with Greg Hansen. Greg, the internet broke on Monday when Thad Matta in Ohio State announced that he was fired, quitting, something like that. As people are starting to focus on who the Buckeyes' next head coach will be, Sean Miller's name keeps coming up. I'm not sure there's any validity to it, but certainly Arizona fans have some reason to be concerned. What do you think?
About 2012, 2011, Sean Miller was talking one day about Ohio State. I can't remember the reason, what prompted it. And in quick order, he named off their 5 leading players and their hometowns, all in Ohio. I thought then, of course, 5 years ago,
Right.
if there's one place he might go to other than the big name schools, Ohio State was on that map.
Right.
But things have changed since then. I don't think that's a school anymore he would look at.
I think Ohio State has regressed as a program since then, and I think that Sean Miller's profile has gone up. I think he's almost too good for them now, where maybe 5 years ago they were seemingly a good match.
Hey, the next 5 years should be the prime of his career. Who knows how long the prime lasts, but certainly he's in it now.
Right.
And if he's ever going to win a national championship, it's in the next 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's brought in another top 5 recruiting class, which we've said this the last 5 years. He does it every year. At some point, if you keep stacking your roster with players of that talent level, at some point you're going to win a title.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there won't be another Sweet 16 exit next year or the year after, I think. I think that he keeps knocking at the door, something's going to happen.
He's too close. You know what made me smile about this whole episode was, can you imagine, maybe the statute of limitations applies.
Right.
Can you imagine the couple of days in Iowa City, Iowa, 30 years ago, when word leaked that Lute was considering Arizona, all their people would have said he would never go to Arizona.
Right.
Never. They're 4-24. They're from a crummy league 5 years ago. Why would you go to Arizona?
Right.
And everybody was wrong then.
Right. And Iowa's never been the same.
Yeah.
And Arizona's never been the same, for better there. With Ohio State, Greg, if you're going to fire a coach in June for seemingly no reason, you probably have somebody in your back pocket. Who is it?
Well, Chris Mack at Xavier's, if you can't get him, he's at a school without a football team, but suddenly he goes to one with a very big football team. He could win the national championship at Ohio State, couldn't he?
Sure. And he's probably the best sort of unclaimed coach. Last year, all the guys who were kind of being mentioned alongside Chris Mack for major jobs either got those jobs or got new deals. Chris Mack is still kind of out there. It's a short drive to Columbus from Cincinnati. He would make a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah.
Do they go back to the Xavier well for the second time in as many coaches? Does it matter?
No.
And does Thad Matta like Chris Mack? Thad Matta is reportedly going to be involved in this hire.
Thad Matta, first-class man.
Yep.
I would take his word on anything.
Yep.
And he would certainly recommend Chris Mack, wouldn't he?
You would think. You would think. There has to be a name out there that we just haven't considered. Is Tom Crean good enough to coach at Ohio State?
Nah.
Certainly wasn't good enough to coach in Indiana. Archie Miller is the guy who, if this happened 3 months ago, maybe Archie Miller's at Ohio State and not at Indiana.
No, Indiana's a better job than Ohio State.
I agree. But is Archie Miller, did he have some sort of old home feeling for Ohio State that maybe he would not have had for Indiana? Who knows?
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting to see. To me, I think of the timing too. Are they looking for an NBA guy?
Wow, maybe you think it's evolving that direction?
I don't know, but that would be the time to do it, right? You look at
Billy Donovan.
Billy Donovan makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Billy Donovan is used to being a basketball coach at a football school. Billy Donovan will get PAID at Ohio State. If they said the only thing keeping us from hiring Billy Donovan is money, how much money could Ohio State pay him?
They're like Alabama.
Right. $8 million, $7 million?
They'd fracture the salary structure, yeah.
Right. He would make a lot of sense. Maybe Billy Donovan doesn't want to be answering questions about Russell Westbrook every night for the foreseeable future. That would make a lot of sense.
To me, the big factor is how big is Gene Smith's ego, the AD at Ohio State?
I think large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he wants to have a heavy-hitting basketball team along with the football team.
But would Gene Smith ever hire a coach from the University of Florida by writing him a very large check. Yes.
Yes.
He did that with football. Yes. So Billy Donovan to me would make a lot of sense there.
You know, Gene Smith was the AD at Arizona State. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do.
He didn't have the money to make the big hires.
He did not. He did not. That'll do it for this episode of Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. For Greg Hansen, Greg, I'm going to test your memory. 2001, Arizona's in the basketball tournament with their national championship team. They're in a pod with Butler.
Thad Matta.
Thad Matta was their head coach.
Yep.
The head coach at Xavier was Skip Prosser.
Yep.
Right? Skip Prosser goes to Wake Forest. Thad Matta goes from Butler to Xavier.
Yeah.
Jay John was considered for the Butler job.
Good point, he was.
And instead they hired some guy named Brad Stevens. Whatever happened to him?
Well, I went to lunch with his dad recently. His dad is a retired surgeon who lives in Tucson.
There we go.
Yeah.
And his son is doing just fine in the NBA, I think. Brad Stevens, Ohio State?
Wow, no way.
No way. No way. I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.